15-minute fantasy football podcast. I'm Paul Stoltz, former professional kicker who spent way too much time in the offensive film room.
And I'm Anthony LaFurie, an award-winning sports reporter, and also the guy in your league bombarding you with 5,000 trade offers for your best running back.
I can vouch for that, given I'm in a league with you, and you are offering me way too much for pretty much all my or way too many crap players for all of my best players.
Listen, I don't see anything wrong with Andy Dalton for DeAndre Swift straight up, Paul.
Well, this is going to be our first independent trade target episode. We're going to do just buy low and sell high, guys, here. And we'll get right into it. But real quick first, if you haven't already subscribed to us, whether you're listening on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and do so. That really helps us out. Smash that like button if you can. It'll also notify you every time we post a new episode. At FCK Podcast on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Sunday, of course, LaFurie will be going live with me to go over your start-sit questions. So without further ado, let's hit him with our first sell-high candidate.
All right, Paul. My sell-high candidate is one CeeDee Lamb. Now, I got to admit, I might be a week late here. But, dude, he's still got a lot of value. He's going to close out this week. He should still be in the top 20 among wide receivers. I think you could shoot for either a low-end QB1 / high-end QB2, low-end RB2 / high-end RB3. I think that's very realistic. I really worry about the Cowboys' passing game right now with Andy Dalton as the QB.
Yeah, it's fair. And especially if Andy has to miss any time, with Ben DiNucci, his value goes down immediately. The big thing, I totally agree with you with CeeDee Lamb as a sell high. He was one of my candidates for this list. And the biggest thing here is that Amari Cooper is the better route runner. And if I have to get rid of the ball quickly because the Cowboys' offensive line is in shambles, I'm going to the guy where I know he's going to be in the spot I need him in.
Yeah, well said, Paul.
Yeah. So my sell high candidate this week is James Robinson. And James Robinson has above and beyond impressed me. He broke every Phillip Lindsay record for an undrafted running back coming in the first year. And I'm not selling high on him because I don't think he's good. He's pretty good. Even in that offense, he's been really good. He's really taken over the Fournette role in a very good way. But let me give you his schedule if you make the playoffs. Week 14, Tennessee. Week
Ouch.
15, Baltimore.
Pass.
Week 16, Chicago.
Cut him. That's brutal.
I feel like I would sell him right now. And he's getting maximum value. He's the RB3.
Paul, I love what you said there. In fact, I'll give everybody a quick hint. One of the things I always do when I look to trade for a player is I will look at weeks 13 through 16. That's the last week of the regular season and your 3 playoff weeks, because a lot of the times you're either playing for a playoff spot or a number 1 or a number 2 seed in week 13. It's usually very important. And then obviously you're playing for your lives week 14 and week 15 and week 16. So if you get a guy with a cake schedule, you know to go for him. If you get a guy with a hard schedule, you know to either stay away or get rid of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And real quick, before we go to the next section, I also wanted to say for your CeeDee Lamb take, one guy I would look to go after at that sort of value that CeeDee Lamb's at right now is Antonio Gibson, who's been getting more and more of a carry share. I think you might be able to get Antonio Gibson for that price. All right, Ant, let's go to our buy low section. We each have 3 players, and we'll count it down 3 to 1. Give me your number 3 buy low guy.
Well, this is either going to shock you or not shock you at all, but I'm going to go with Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay. We said the Cowboys' offensive line is in shambles. I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so here's the deal. right now, their line is in shambles. But let's factor a few things in. Number one, their best lineman coming into the year was Zach Martin, and Zeke did nothing against Washington because Zach Martin wasn't there. He's going to be back. He was just in concussion protocol. He could be back as soon as Sunday against the Eagles. Joe Looney, who was the team's starting center, he's going to be back sooner rather than later. Maybe not this week, but within the next few weeks, Looney should be back. Now, what the Cowboys were doing the previous couple of weeks before Looney got hurt, and it was working for them. It was paying dividends. They were playing Biotish at center, where he is now, the rookie. They kicked Looney out from center to right guard, which was kind of his natural position as it was. And then they were kicking Zach Martin out from right guard to right tackle. And that was working for the Cowboys. If they go back to that strategy, and they seem intent on staying the course with Mike McCarthy, that could pay dividends, and Zeke could be effective. So my logic is right now he's coming off back-to-back really bad weeks. I think you could get him for an RB2 and a wide receiver 2, or a low-end wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2, or a low-end RB1 wide receiver 2, something along those lines.
And that is, to me, probably the best argument that you've made on this show. To the point where I'm going through my rosters mentally right now and thinking who I would want to give up to grab Zeke because of your knowledge of that offensive line. That was really well done. My number 3 this week for a buy low guy is JK Dobbins. We saw the film at Ohio State. Sensational, right? But here's why I think it's time to buy low on him. And by the way, he's still available in 30% of leagues. Try to pick him up quick. So Ingram is banged up. Gus Edwards is nothing special. They'll still throw him in. They're coming off of a bye week, right? And Dobbins is the most explosive back in that offense. And here's what that does for Lamar Jackson. When you have a faster back like J.K. Dobbins and you're doing the read option that Lamar Jackson does so well but hasn't been as effective at this year so far, is you make linebackers cheat. The second J.K. Dobbins is out there, linebackers are going to be having to cheat to get the outside with J.K. Dobbins. So I think he just makes them a better football team. At some point, he is going to see double-digit touches. I think it's time to buy low.
I think you're right, Paul, as much as it pains me to put over an Ohio State Buckeye, even though I just put over Zeke. And I do love me some Mark Ingram, but I just feel like he's not a fit for that offense anymore. Dobbins is the young buck, and yeah, way to go there. What would you look to give up for him right now?
I'd give up. I'm thinking like a receiver, right? Like somebody who's like a flex guy, like a wide receiver 3, like a Darius Slayton, a T. Higgins. I would even consider giving up a Claypool because I won't want to deal with the week-to-week touchdown hunting and inconsistency. That's a good question.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. My woman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. My number 2 buy low guy, Big Ben. Do you know what he's ranked? 17th.
Really?
Now, yeah. I mean, he had a week, so his ranking's going to go up a little bit this week, I should say. But listen, do you know who he gets coming up in the schedule? He gets
probably the Bengals a couple times.
He does get the Bungles once. Mm-hmm. He gets Jacksonville, and he gets the worst secondary in the history of professional football, my Dallas Cowboys. Brighter days are ahead, guys. QB2, wide receiver 3, lock and load. You can get yourself a QB1 down the stretch of the regular season.
I love that, dude. In 2018, his last full season, he was the QB2.
Yes. You had him on your sleeper list and cited that, and that's a great argument. And he's going to make a run at that with this Pickens coming up.
I love it. This is the right time to buy on him. I totally agree with it. He's had a tough schedule against good secondary, so that's a really good and good pass rushes. That's a good one, Ant. All right, my number 2 is going to shock the hell out of you because this is a guy that was on my do not touch list. And up and down so far, I've pretty much my do not touch list, as you said last week, was 6 for 6, right? So I'm about to tell you to buy one of these guys. DJ Chark.
Wow, Chark is not one of your guys. Do tell why.
I'm not a DJ Chark guy, but and it's not because I don't think DJ Chark is talented. It's because I just don't like the way they ad lib in that offense, right? Mm-hmm. But he's got the bye week now to heal up. He's been having a couple nagging injuries, and in the last 4 weeks, 34 targets, 8.5 targets a game. He had 7 targets last game. They only connected on 1. They're going to figure it out. The only thing I don't like about DJ Chark is he is a boomer bust, big play threat. So you're going to have to do a little guesswork. But if he's my 3rd or 4th receiver and I can get him for Josh Kelly, Singletary even, that's a price I'm willing to pay to take a shot at him.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
All right, who is your number 1 buy low?
Well, I wouldn't say he's my number 1 buy low. I would say Zeke is my number 1 buy low, but call me Tony Stark because I'm going to Jarvis Landry.
Interesting. Yeah.
So really unfortunate news about Odell Beckham. I wish him a full and speedy recovery, obviously. But, I mean, listen, he's now going to see an uptick in targets. He's a better fit for Buster Mayfield as it is. He's a precise route runner, short and intermediate stuff. That, to me, is Mayfield at his best. He's ranked 39th, and coming up, he gets the Giants and the Jets. They're actually that's in his playoff schedule. Excuse me. They're going to be in tank mode at that time. So I think you could get him for an RB3, and I think he's going to perform like a wide receiver 1 down the stretch.
Always been a great PPR guy, even since his days with the Dolphins. He's a great route runner. He has a similar skill set to Odell Beckham. So in the ways they were just getting Odell Beckham the ball in recent weeks, I think that's going to be Jarvis Landry now. He's even throwing a couple passes the last few weeks. I like that one, Ant. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, my number 1 buy low candidate this week is Josh Jacobs. Just came off of a 6-point game. He's really had, I believe it's 3 of his last 4 games are under 14 points. And this is a guy who is a top 6 or 7 talent in the league at running back. Their bye week is over. The terrible schedule he's had with 3 of the last 4 weeks being under 14 points. He's been up against Tampa Bay, who doesn't give up points to any running back. And it's just been really difficult. He's been in really difficult situations, and it is going to turn around for him. Again, the bye week is over, and this is a guy who runs with power. He runs with speed, and I think he's going to be a top 5 running back the rest of the way through.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I'm with you all the way. I love me Jacobs, so definitely look to get a piece of him.
Well, that'll do it for our Trade Target episode. But real quick, before you guys go, please go ahead and smash that like button for us. It helps us to rank higher in the YouTube algorithm. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or YouTube, please go ahead and hit subscribe. That'll notify you every time we come out with a new episode. On Saturday, we'll come out with our 15 games in 15 minutes preview episode. And on Sunday, of course, we'll be on Instagram at FCK Podcast Live to answer all of your start-sit questions as well as go over the inactives. Thanks so much for tuning in this week, everyone.